This is definitely a very comfortable position, but I don't think it's the best position to film this video in. I feel very far away from you. That's better. So today I am going to be answering questions about my penis. Sort of. It's about the process and about the surgery I had. I'm not going to go into too many details about my actual penis, but yeah. Hey guys, it's Jamie and welcome back to another video on a very hot day. It's wonderful outside. I got my bright shirt out for the occasion. In today's video, I'm going to be answering your questions about my experience with getting metoidioplasty surgery. So just as a reminder, I've said this in my lower surgery vlogs as well. You can find a link down below in the description box. I had metoidioplasty without urethral lengthening with scrotoplasty. Yeah, that's essentially it. That's what I've had. I will have a second stage at some point where I will get testicular implants. Yeah, I'm just going to move on to reading and answering the questions. Otherwise, I'm just going to answer them all by talking now. Okay, so for this bit, I need to put on my wonderful glasses. You ready? Do you like it? Is me with glasses a good look? With glasses or without glasses? I don't know what I prefer. Okay, so on to the questions. Was metoidioplasty recovery worse or longer than top surgery recovery? It was both worse and longer. I went into getting lower surgery completely naive to the recovery process, and I didn't think it was going to be worse than top surgery. I was like, I've handled top surgery, I know what it's like, and with this one, at least I've still got movement of my arms and everything, so wiping my butt is not going to be impossible. Wiping my butt was not really impossible, but going to the toilet pretty much was, because it's like that area. So it was like, instead of this half being immobile or like restricted in movement, it was the bottom half, which I struggled with a lot more. Everything was difficult. I couldn't sit up properly. I was in a lot more pain than I was with top surgery, but I did have complications as well, so obviously this isn't going to be the case for everybody, but certainly for me, the recovery from metoidioplasty and the whole surgical experience was a lot harder than top surgery, like a lot harder. I never want to do that again. Worth it now, but I wouldn't want to do it again. I feel like with top surgery, I was pretty okay after about 2 or 3 weeks, but it took me more like 4 to 6 weeks to feel a bit more back to like my normal self and my normal level of activity. With lower surgery, I mean, it took me weeks to be able to go up the stairs properly and to sit down properly and everything. It was intense. Yeah. Question number 2. Why didn't you get urethral lengthening? For me, the way I pee is not important. It doesn't cause me dysphoria to not stand to pee. I really don't mind. So because it's an extra stage and it requires a mouth graft and there are complications involved, not like hugely horrible major complications or anything, but just the complication rate is a bit high. I mean, saying that, I had complications anyway, but ignoring that, for me personally, it just wasn't worth the extra stage of surgery. It's not something I felt like I needed to do. How much did it cost? For me, nothing, except for my travel and booking a hotel for my partner. I had my surgery through the NHS. But there was a long wait list. I first went to my GP to get a referral to an NHS gender clinic back in October 2015. So it took from October 2015 to January 2018 from initial referral being sent off to the gender identity clinic, having those appointments, and then having my surgery. So it wasn't like an overnight thing, it took a while. What are the expanding testicle implants? Yes. For those of you who have watched my 3-month update, it was just after I had my appointment with the surgeon, and he said that my scrotum is slightly on the small side, nothing to be embarrassed about, I don't mind. And instead of putting in the kind of regular size testicular implants straight away, I will start off with ones that are kind of more like that size, that will then gradually expand. He did send a letter explaining what they're called. I will go get that and I will tell you. Hold on. Hello. So I was actually gone for about 10 minutes because it turns out I am highly disorganized and I can't find the letter. I read it. It's like Osbuds, is a myth. But they basically go in and some of you commented this on the last video as well. They sound like Orbeez, like where they go in small and they absorb and they get bigger. They kind of work like that. They have a maximum capacity and then they will stay at that size. So yeah, essentially I'm having Orby balls. Okay, next question. Are you ever considering getting PHALLOPLASTY or are you happy with the metoidioplasty results? I am very happy with the meta results, so I have no plans on getting phalloplasty. Is it fine to have this surgery without having a hysterectomy? Yeah, totally fine. I'm not having a hysterectomy. You can have this surgery without having a hysterectomy. Depending on what else you want, your surgeon may advise certain things to happen, but it's all within the realm of possibility, so you should talk to your surgeon. But certainly for me, without getting urethral lengthening, not having a hysterectomy was totally fine. Now everything has changed. How aware are you of having a penis and a scrotum? I was very, very aware in the beginning when things were still healing, obviously, because not only was it very different to how it was before and it felt different and everything, it was also painful, so I was kind of like hyper aware of what was going on. Now, yes, in certain situations, like if I cross my legs funny or I sit down on something funny or just certain things and like pants, it's very weird. If you have ever worn a bra, it's that relief of taking your bra off at the end of the day. And you're just like, oh. When I take off tight pants, I get that now, but on balls instead of boobs. So there are definitely some things to get used to, some things I'm still getting used to. I do hurt myself fairly regularly, but yeah, it does feel different now, and I am fairly aware quite a lot of the time that things are still new, and I'm sure I will become even more aware of everything and things will get squished and in the way even more once I have the implants. Have you tried cycling? This is a very good question. It kind of leads on from the question before. I have tried cycling on a stationary bike, not like a road bike, so I can't speak for how bumps and suspension may play a role in cycling with new balls, but cycling on a stationary bike was totally fine. Will you release close-up pictures? No. It's for the same reason that I am not going into a huge amount of detail over like specifically what my junk looks like and things like that. You can find photos on places like Tumblr and TransBucket and surgery sites that give you a general idea of what results can look like. Obviously everybody's will differ slightly, it will depend on your own anatomy, so I'm just doing it for my own privacy. I don't want to release dick pics onto the internet, just to keep some little nugget of privacy. How do you feel mentally from the whole procedure? I feel a lot calmer and like happier within myself now that I'm completely healed. Like, it was definitely the right thing for me to do. It's definitely had like the mental benefits that I was really hoping it would. But like immediately in and around surgery, I really struggled. I really struggled to deal with the whole surgery situation. I found it very tough and very difficult because of the complications and stuff. And for those of you who haven't watched my previous vlogs, I had a hematoma, and what had to happen with that is the surgeon had to unpick my stitches and squeeze out the hematoma twice whilst I was in hospital. No pain relief or anything. Most horrific thing of my life, like most painful thing I've ever experienced. For quite a while after surgery, like any pain down there, I got instantly reminded of what it was like to have it squeezed, and it wasn't nice and I had to distract myself. But now it's totally fine. I know it was the worst pain I experienced, but I can't remember it in detail, which is fantastic. So definitely feeling the mental benefits now. Why is your scrotum small? I guess it's just the way I am. It depends on how much tissue they have down there to create the scrotum. So obviously I just didn't have a huge amount. So I've ended up with a small house for my balls, but it's all good. It will stretch out to be like an average size. But yeah, some people will end up with very small scrotums and some people will end up with very large, and then other people will be in the middle. It just all depends on your own anatomy. Which is better, metoidioplasty or phalloplasty? No one is better than the other. They both have their pros and cons, and they will both have pros and cons for each individual looking into them. It's all about what's better for you individually, and just you as a person, rather than there being one better than the other generally. Do the testicular implants create their own testosterone, or will you have to keep taking T for the rest of your life? It would be amazing if the testicular implants created their own testosterone. Could you imagine that? I don't even know if that could work, I don't know how it would work, but it would be amazing if they could just pop two of them in and it would just slowly release testosterone for the rest of my life, or like for several years, and then they get changed over. Something like that would be brilliant. But no, unfortunately, they do not create or release any form of testosterone. I will still carry on having to take it for the rest of my life. Where did you get your top and bottom surgeries done? Okay, so I got my top surgery done at the Nuffield Hospital down in Brighton, and that was done by Andrew Yelland like nearly 6 years ago now. And I got my first stage bottom surgery done at Highgate in London, part of the London team for doing lower surgery in the UK, and they can work out of several different hospitals, but mine was in Highgate. And finally, how do you pee? The same as I always have peed. Because I didn't get urethral lengthening, pee happens as it always has. So those are all the questions for today, guys. I just wanted to answer a little selection to help you guys understand a bit more about the surgery as a whole. Do go check out TransBucket if you would like to see photographs, or Tumblr can be quite a good resource as well. There are some good blogs that have photographs of results on there as well. So there are places you can go and get an idea of what meta results might look like. I hope these answers helped in some way. There was one big question that I left off, and that's why I picked meta over phalloplasty. And that's because I feel like I could talk about that quite a bit. So I might make a completely separate video, and I didn't want to like clog this video up with like 10 minutes on just one question. But for now, that is everything. Just a massive thank you again for everybody who has joined me on my lower surgery journey. Your support has been amazing and honestly so uplifting and helpful. Much love to you guys. Thank you very much for all the support. And yeah, as always, thank you very much for watching my video, and I will see you next time. Bye!